Hey there everyone, this is John Shada here. Have you ever wondered what it actually looks like to take up the cross and follow Jesus? You know, he said, if you want to be my disciple, you need to deny yourself, take up your cross daily, and follow me. So what would that actually look like? How would we know? How could we measure or determine if we were really taking up the cross to follow him? So I want to try to answer that question using the scale. I use it as a visual illustration that will show us what it looks like to take up the cross, what takes place in the unseen realm. So, you know, the Old Covenant people had the law of Moses, and they did their very best, but it wasn't very weighty or powerful, so the Lord allowed them to bring an innocent animal, and they shed the blood of that innocent animal every year for their sins. So this had to be repeated every year, and it temporarily blotted out their sins, and it didn't have the power to cleanse their conscience. It didn't have the power to defeat the devil in their life. And so it was just a temporary solution to the sin problem. But when Jesus came, he came with a permanent solution to the sin problem. So he had no violations in his life. So when he laid down his life, the scale was already balanced in his life, so to speak. He was without fault, without sin. So he laid his life down as a gift. It wasn't required. He wasn't paying for any of his own debt, sin. He was paying for the sins of the world. He took upon himself the sins of all the world. And as a result, you see that his payment is weightier. His life was a gift. He freely laid it down as a gift for humanity. The animal sacrifices were a requirement of the law. They were not a gift. And the requirement of the law just balances the scale. But the gift is weightier. The gift of Christ's death on the cross is much weightier. So kind of like take note of that the gift outweighs the requirement. So when Jesus came along preaching, he said things like, you know, if someone obligated you to go with them a mile, put the first mile up there, we see that the scale comes to balance, so that means we've met our obligation. As a requirement of the law, it's kind of like a legal requirement that we meet our obligation. So Jesus said, go the second mile as an added gift. The gift outweighs the requirement. So this is equal to the cross. So this is what it looks like for us to take up the cross daily, is if we are just barely meeting our obligations and doing what's required of us, we're really not living by the standard of the cross. We're living by the standard of the law. And when we live by the law standard, the law remains active. It's just like the scale bounces around. That's a picture of the law remaining active, and the enemy is armed against us, and he can use the law as a weapon against God's people. And so Jesus disarmed him by the cross, but it doesn't automatically apply to everyone. Individually, we must do as Jesus said, take up the cross, use it as our standard for righteousness and justice. So we add that gift, going that second mile, that adds weight to the scale. It's the gift outweighing the requirement. So now we're living by the New Covenant standard of the cross. You see the cross took the scale to the bottom. It's a picture of the law being put out of force, the Old Covenant coming to an end. The enemy is disarmed against us. He's a defeated foe. And so he can no longer use the law as a weapon to accuse and condemn God's people. So this is a picture of the New Covenant, how the New Covenant is superior to the Old, as it disarms the devil, deactivates the law. So as long as we're good with just meeting our obligation, going that first mile. We're subject to the enemy's accusations. We're subject to the law. And in the natural realm of law, you see how that scale fluctuates so easily. That speaks of natural circumstances, like the winds and the waves. And for example, when Jesus was in the boat with his disciples, the storm blew in and waves started crashing into the boat. And of course, the boat is rocking like that with the waves and everything going crazy. And so they start freaking out. But Jesus he's asleep on a cushion. And the reason that he was able to sleep on the cushion is he was living by the superior standard. He was living in the kingdom, and the disciples were living in the natural realm of law. So everything that comes along in this world, it shakes the world up. It will shake the people up too if they're living in the natural realm of law. So going that second mile is as an added gift. It's a freely given gift. It's like the cross. Jesus freely gave his life. He freely laid it down for others. So we freely lay our life down here for this person that we're obligated to. We freely go that second mile. That takes us out of the natural realm of law into the supernatural realm of grace and the kingdom. And there we'll experience that supernatural atmosphere of peace and supernatural joy and supernatural righteousness and all of that Jesus walked in. He wasn't shaken by the storm. He wasn't freaked out because he was living in another realm. And he's inviting us to come into that realm with him. But in order to get there, we have to apply the cross. So when we're obligated to go 1 mile, he says, go the second mile as a gift. And he used another example. I will illustrate that as well. If I offended someone and the guy took me to court and the judge required that I give my coat to settle the case, here again, this is a legal thing. The requirement of the judge or the requirement of the law was to give that coat. He said, exceed the requirement, add a gift, take that, freely give that gift, just like Jesus freely gave his life. This represents me laying down my life as a gift, and I give it to the one who I offended, and as a result of that, the scale goes to the bottom. The devil's disarmed. I'm removed out of the realm of law into the superior realm of God's kingdom of grace. This is the added gift of grace. Takes us out of the law realm into the kingdom realm, where we experience a superior atmosphere, a superior reality, and we're not shaken by all the things that come to shake this world. People that are living here by just meeting their requirements, they're going to be subject to all the fluctuations that take place in the earth, all the storms that come and go and all that. They're going to be affected by all that. And so, anyway, I'll bless you with that for today, and we'll talk again another time. God bless you. Bye-bye.